Hello, guys. We're back here again. Another week where I'm doing exactly the same thing, boring me, but this time we made 5K in 5 hours. So, as you guys know, breaking retest is the way that I trade, and we had a beautiful opportunity in dollar Swiss that enabled us to take advantage of the system again with exactly the same rules and putting us in a position where we increased the size of our account by an extra 2%, you could say. So here we go. We're going to break it all down again, and we're going to start on the 4 hour this time. This is the higher time frame that we're looking at. And as you can easily see, guys, once again, we've got the range. We've got the range that we're always looking for. Now, it might be a little bit more difficult to identify the range in the 4 hour, but one little trick for you guys is when you're seeing a cluster of price action within two certain regions, you want to be paying attention to that level. You want to be paying attention to that zone. If you're seeing wicks up and down, potentially price action creating dojis and candles after candles which are not going anywhere, they're not traveling, you want to be paying attention to that level because you are creating volume within that region. And that region is what creates the range. So if you're struggling to see it down on the 4 hour, go down to the 1 hour. Have a look at the 1 hour and put yourself in a position where you can start to identify the multiple touches. As we have here, up and down, up and down. Some people are going to say, Obes, what about this? This to me is a fake out. So sometimes in the market, what you're going to get is price traveling above the level and then coming right back in. Hence the reason why I always emphasize space, which I'm going to break down in a second as well, because it's such a huge part in the trade that we're looking at. And you want the market to be rotating within that certain region, those certain two levels. So as we can see, buyers come back up, sellers come back down. Buyers come back up, sellers come back down. As we can see, building this lovely volume here. And then we break out. And again, we breach to the downside. Some of you guys may know I got a selling bias. I personally believe that I'll probably say 90% of my trades are all sells. I don't know why, but I tend to feel that breaking retest works a little bit better when you're selling. Of course, it works when you're buying too, but maybe I just have a personal bias of being a seller. And then what are we seeing? We're seeing the market breaching to the downside and then pulling back nice and slowly into the region, as we can see here. Now, guys, we have created that space again. The reason why I emphasize the space so much is because it shows me that there is a lack of interest from the opposite party to come back into that level. Why is it taking so many candles to come back into that region? It took maybe 3 to 4 candles for the sellers to breach out of that level, and it's taking almost double, sometimes triple the same amount of candles to get back to that level. That's telling me that there is a lack of interest, and I'm definitely interested in coming back in that area and seeing what we're going to do next. So let me just make this very clear. I am not here predicting what the market does next. I believe newbie traders believe that we have crystal balls or we know how to predict the markets and so on and so forth. No, everything that we do is based on stats and data. Once again, I'm looking for the same pattern again and again and again. I've collected large amounts of information over a large period of time, again and again and again. I am extremely confident towards this approach because I've studied it over a large period of time. Will I be able to be in a position to know whether the outcome of this specific trade is going to be successful? No, I don't know. But I know that over a large sample size that I have, most times out of 10, this system works. And that's where my trust lies. Put me in a position to execute when I see my parameters being met. So here we are again. We're going down to the 1 minute now. Luckily, we have enough data to go down to the 1 minute and put us in a position where we can start to pick up on the fine detail. A lot of people ask me all the time, Obes, how do you trade on the 1 minute? How do you do it? Guys, there's a very big difference. I don't trade the 1 minute. I execute on the 1 minute. As you can clearly see from the video, I'm coming back to a 4 hour level. A 4 hour level where I'm seeing interaction. The only reason why I'm down on the 1 minute is to maximize my potential return. That's all it is. As most of you guys know, I studied price action for a very long time, for a large amount of time. Therefore, yes, I've built a speciality on understanding when I want to see the market moving in a certain direction, or when I'm seeing the market moving in a certain direction. I'm able to see price action from a 4-dimensional perspective, not 3, 4. I'm not just looking at the size of the candle and how much time it's taking, and also seeing the fight between the buyers and the sellers. I'm also seeing something that I'm going to call aggression. I'm able to see the aggression behind how these candles are being printed. Therefore, the velocity, the speed of seeing these candles being printed. This is telling me that buyers and sellers are interacting, and in this occasion, sellers want to take control of the market. Buyers are being trapped, or buyers are looking to get out of this trade because they feel that they are on the wrong side of the market. That is where fear and greed can be actually studied at the most minuscule level. So here we are. We're now starting to understand that we're seeing buyers and sellers coming in. We're back at the level, as we can clearly see. And I'm going to quickly do the replay so that we can get an understanding of what I was experiencing whilst we were actually going through this trade. Because not every trade is going to be smooth, as you guys know. So we're going to go back. Here we are, back at the level. And we're going to start playing the replay. Okay, right. I'm going to speed it up by 3 because there's quite a few candles. And as you can see, we were up here for a while, starting to see sellers potentially coming in. At this point in time, this is when I decided to get in. Now, there's a little nuance here, which I'm going to stress to you guys because it's not often I do this, but I'm going to break it down. Now, look at the time that is showing on the video. It is 2:06. What is 2:06? Well, that is just before the US Open. Normally, as you guys know, all of my trades are executed after the US Open. I tend to look for trades around 2:45 onwards. In this occasion, I entered at 6 minutes past 2. I kind of broke my rule there. Someone's going to say, oh, didn't you just break your rule? Yes, I potentially did. At 1:30, we had the USD news, which was the Empire State Manufacturing Index. And I thought price was going to move a little bit quicker than normal. However, as we kept going, we can start to see that the market started to play up a little bit. The sellers weren't as aggressive as I thought they were. Therefore, I stayed in this trade, almost taking a lot of heat before the trade started moving. And I'm going to pause it there. And now we can see how now the sellers are in for real. They've come back again. So I've taken a little bit of heat. And when I mean a little bit of heat, almost an hour's worth. Are you ready to stay in a trade for an hour, not knowing that it's going to go your way or not, teasing your stop loss, potentially staying at break even, not seeing anything happen? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself if you want to get down to this level, if you want to come down to the 1 minute. It's a lot more difficult. Now, I'm in a position where I'm looking at the 1 minute and not acting on anything. Why? Because obviously I've seen this so many times. But at the beginning, there was no way I would have stayed with this trade. I would have potentially got out, taken a small loss, or been in a position where I would have fumbled the trade and completely, beat myself up afterwards. So we're in the situation where now we're seeing sellers coming back into control. And I want to aim, I'm going to go down to the 1 hour now, just quickly, guys. And I'm going to aim for the previous region where I'm seeing buyers and sellers having a go, somewhere down here. Let me go to the 4 hour real quick just to double verify. Sorry, the 15 minute. It's a little bit easier for me to see. I'm going to aim for this region down here. Why? Because this is where I'm seeing buyers and sellers coming back and reacting. And as you guys know, I am not going to fight anyone. I'm going to leave the market alone when I'm seeing a level of interaction tells me that the opposite party, the party that I'm trading against, is coming back into that level. So back down to the 1 minute now, and let's start looking for how this trade moved. Here we go. We're carrying on. The market's still lingering within my entry point, being in a position where I am losing confidence, but I'm asking myself one serious question. I'm going to pause the video because this is extremely important for traders. Has the market hit my stop loss? The market hasn't hit my stop loss. No. So I've got to stay in the trade. Constantly talk to yourself if you need to whilst you're in the trade and remind yourself, have my parameters been broken? No, they haven't. Stay in the trade. I don't really mind if these days the market takes my stop loss. I'm not really that bothered. I have too much data to prove otherwise or do otherwise. However, if you're a trader who's building their data, building their stats, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to potentially fully trust your system. Therefore, ask yourself these questions of being in a position of, has the market hit my stop loss? No. Yes, it's a little bit agonizing. It's a little bit painful to stay in a trade that's not really moving and so on and so forth. But you have to remember, the market is not there to move how you want it to move. The reason why you're suffering or struggling to remain in these trades is because you have an expectation. Let go of your expectations. The market will go from A to B, whichever way it wants to. B can potentially be your stop loss or your take profit. How it does it is not down to you. At the end of the day, you decided to get into this game to allow the money to work for you. So allow your money to work for you. So as we carry on, I decided to enter another position, a smaller position, because I saw a much better opportunity. So decided to still put my stop loss a little bit above, but I had a much better entry. To be honest with you, that should have been my initial entry in the first place. So I'm kicking myself for that. And as we can see, the market eventually just starts to move. And here we are. So once again, guys, I'm doing exactly the same thing again and again and again. I'm not changing the way that I'm trading. I'm not, being in a position where I'm forced to change the way that I do things because the market is not giving me opportunities and so on and so forth. I know one thing. The market repeats itself with statistical reliability. So all I need to do is sit and wait for the opportunity that I've studied over a large period of time. Yes, sometimes it's going to be a little bit lean. As you guys know, I'm someone that has made it very clear. There's been months where I haven't traded or weeks where I haven't traded. I've got nothing to hide. But the times that I do trade, I trade something that I've studied over a large period of time. And here we are, guys. Almost 2.5% up. And job done. Now, if you go and study the chart a little bit more, dollar Swiss has carried on moving way further than my take profit. People are going to think, Obes, why have you left so much money on the table? Guys, I don't know what those buyers want to do when I'm back at that level. And I'm not someone to fight. And also, I'm not someone to leave partials in. I'm a one-shot kill type of guy. I want to take my money and get out. So I'm in a position where I've made my money. I'm getting out. Trade is done for me. Anything that happens after that is none of my business. And I look forward on to the next trade. Thank you, guys. Take care.